I hope you guys are having such a glorious morning. If not, day, morning, honey, wherever you are. Okay. If not, do understand and get your day, your life is going to get better once your perception gets better. When you go to change, okay, let's talk about that. When you go to change, I remember back in 2018 when I pretty much I had my I don't care for saying, spiritual awakening or whatever it is like that, but I became more aware that the things that I was doing, they was not working, right? That I needed to do something different in order for me to receive something different. And it's so funny because back then, no one ever told me that when you go to change, things in your life will turn out to be a certain way. Hey Tracy, peace here, baby, peace here, peace here, peace here. That things would turn out to be a certain way. So, here I am. I'm changing, right? Listening to personal development like I do each and every day. And only thing I knew was that I just wanted change. You get what I'm saying? Like I just wanted my life to become different. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was sick and tired of working at jobs, okay? Because I always felt like there was more to my life. I always felt I um like I deserve to be rich. You get what I'm saying? I always felt that even as a little kid. Okay, I felt that way. I remember, speaking of that, I remember when I was a kid, my cousins, they had brought me the Bernstein Bears books. Do you guys remember that? Mama Bear, Papa Bear, sister and brother Bear. Okay, so they had brought me this book. And I remember I wanted money. Okay, that was that, as a kid, I just felt like, what, if I had more money, I could buy more stuff, buy more bubble gum and more candy and more, things like that, right? And so what wound up happening, I remember my cousins, they had brought me the Bernstein Bears book, which they will always buy books and stuff like that for me when I was a kid, right? And I remember I had took that book. It was some kids that lived, that was friends with me, that lived on the same block as I did. And I remember I had took that book, I took that book and I sold it. Okay. I sold that book. And that I probably was about, I want to say I probably was about probably about 10 or so. Okay. But I knew then that I wanted money. And so, of course I got in trouble. Okay. Where's that book? Oh, I sold it. You sold it. What you mean you sold it? Honey, I done sold the book. But yeah, so I always knew that, I deserved more. Okay. Now, sometimes I may have not went about it the right way. Okay. But I always felt like I deserved more from life. And so when you go to change, okay, you have some people around you right now. And this was a few of the things that I didn't know. Okay. When I started, going to change and stuff like that, I did not know that I was going to be faced with opposition. Okay, I just thought, I'm going to change and, I'm doing things differently and stuff like that. My life is going to be like kumbaya. It's going to be like, the angels going to come there. I was really in Delulu land. Okay, because I just felt like, everything is going to work out perfectly fine, and everything do work out perfectly fine. But I want to warn you that when you go to change, you are going to be faced with adversity. Okay. And let me tell you this. It's so funny. The other day I was listening to this guy. His name is Dan something. And I was watching him not last night, the night before last. And he was saying, whenever you desire to have more in life, the bigger problems you're going to have. Okay. And I know sometimes people think like, well, I'm doing all the right things, but why am I going through this, right? Like, why am I going through adversity? I'm being such a good person. I'm tithing, I'm giving, but why is this showing up in my life? Let me tell you something. You're going to go through it. You are going to go through the adversity. It's just something that comes with it. It's something that comes with life. A few minutes ago, I was on the phone with T-Mobile, okay, and I noticed that so I made a payment on my account, and then I had made. It was another payment because it was like a payment arrangement set up, and it was another payment, okay, that was extracted from my account. So I said, wait, hold on. So I'm on the phone with the lady, and I'm talking to her, and I'm saying, why T-Mobile took another account? Hey, Mia, Jesus, honey, that's what I see. Okay, all right. And I'm on the phone with the lady, and I'm saying, why is there another account? I mean, why is there more money taken from the account and stuff? So, I could have handled that situation way better. All right, I could have handled that situation, way better. And a lot of times, why we tend to face opposition is because of what we got going on in our mind. Okay, what do you have going on in your mind? Okay, that's what's going to show up. It's a book by James Allen, and it's called oh gosh, I can't think of the name, by James Allen. As a Man Thinketh, right? And in the book, James Allen, he says, man. Like, whatever men think is secret, okay, what shows up in their life, what shows up in what other people can see, that's exactly what men was thinking behind closed doors. All right. So you can often tell what someone is going through or what they are thinking by what is constantly showing up in their lives, right? And so when you gotta change, what to expect, right? Well, one, I want you to know that everybody is not going to want you to change. Okay? And I wouldn't go so far as saying they're not going to want you to change. But what it is when you begin to change, there's people that's in your life, okay, that they're not necessarily ready for change, right? Like they 1 second, 50. They're not necessarily looking forward for change, because change it can be scary, okay? Well, I'm not gonna say it can. It is scary, because imagine, when you was a kid, right? And say you moved around a lot, or perhaps you moved, you left from one school and went to the next school. You remember how that felt? You was a little scared, right? Because it was something new. Well, that's the same as that concept, except for now that you're an adult. And to change, it takes strength, it takes courage, self-talk, affirming yourself constantly, telling yourself that you got this, okay? You gonna go through, so many different emotions, but that's what's to be expected. And it's not that people don't want change, it's that people resist change, right? They don't want to change when you want them to change. But if they are to be around you, okay, and if they want to keep the relationship with you, they know they're going to have to change. And so sometimes, many times, it can be our families, okay, that necessarily they don't want to change at this moment. And that's okay. That's okay. But don't you dare allow that to stop you from changing. Okay? Don't you dare allow that to stop you from changing. Because if you do the same, you're going to get the same. And if you say you want a better life and you want more from life, then guess what? You're going to have to do more. So back in 2018, I just felt like, oh, everything is just going to be sunshine, right? Everything is just going to be sunshine, no rainy days. Oh gosh, was I in for a treat. And I never forgot, my oldest son said to me, he had said to me, because I was saying, no, it's only supposed to be positive thinking. I was just, into the positive thinking. I remember he said to me, he said, it has to be negative in order for it to be positive, right? And I just was into the negative. I just was into the positive, right? I was just into the positive thinking. And I never forgot my oldest son said that to me. And you may feel like I just wanted to be a certain type of way. One second, family. Okay. Because that was T-Mobile. So you may feel like I just wanted to be a certain type of way, right? Like you just wanted to be positive. I'm going to share a few reasons why you got to be grateful for the negatives. Okay. Why you have to be grateful for the negatives. Now, I know, you may hear some people say, no, I just want to be focused on the positives. Let me tell you something. There can never be in this here universe just one way. Okay? There's not just one way. There's a law called law of opposite. All right? And law of opposite is, you may say, oh, this thing, what this person did was so evil, right? You may feel that way. You may really feel like what that person did, it was so evil, it was so messed up, they shouldn't have did it, how dare they, right? But somebody else can say, well, that was a good thing because, they had to go through that in order to get to where they currently are today, right? Honey, my children call themselves washing the dishes, and sometimes I just gotta go over it. Okay, all right. So you may think like that is bad, or maybe perhaps you may even think the things that you did in your life, right? Like it was so bad, it was so evil. How dare you do those things? But if it wasn't for those adversities, okay, you would not have became the man or woman that you currently are today. If it wasn't for a paycheck that you consider to be bad, it wouldn't have caused you to want to earn a bigger and a better paycheck, right? So everything is relevant, okay? Everything is according to the way you see things. But whenever you're going through adversity, I want you to understand and get that there's always something that is to be taught from the adversity that you may be going through. You may not be able to see it at that given moment, but I can almost assure you that there is something that is beautiful about what you are growing through. Okay, and I always like to say growing through, because the truth of the matter is, honey, I'm talking about my children. Honey, this got some spots. Because there's some things that you may be, that you may not even think like, oh, well, life is just going good. Or everything that I got from all the mentors that I done had is to expect that there's going to be some bumpy road. That there will be a bumpy road. Okay. Hey, Aaron, peace to you. Hey, Viva, I think that's how you say it. Peace to you. That there will be bumpy roads. Okay. And this with this thing called life. And you could do one or two things. Keep complaining about the bumpy roads, or you can say, you know what? Although I'm experiencing this turbulence, I'm experiencing this bumpy road, I'm gonna make the best out of it. You know why? Because you have the ability to do so. You have the ability to make the best out of any situation that you find yourself in. Okay? You have the ability to do so. So it may seem a certain type of way. It may seem like all hell is breaking loose. Okay? But that's, it's to be expected. But and it's the same as that concept. When you go to the gym, right? And it's so funny because there's so many people when they start doing things differently and they experience some turbulence, or they experience, that bumpy road. At first the road is gonna seem real smooth, like when I went through my spiritual awakening. Oh, it was real. Things was going great. Okay, when I made this decision, you know what? I'm gonna change my child. Everything was going so good. Really good. And then next moment, I know I was faced with opposition. Okay. I was faced with turbulence. And one of the things that I had to see was that, Dina, things in life is going to go this way at times. And you got to be able to get back on track. You got to be able to get back on track. I know it may seem rocky, shaky, or whatever it is like that, but I am here to tell you, honey, you got to get back. You got to learn to get back on track. Because if not, the longer you stay with that perception of things not working for you in life, your life is just going into pieces, right? Yeah, your life is just absolute. It's just the worst. The more you feel that way, okay, the more your life is going to be that way. And I don't know about the next person, but I know that if you want better, honey, you got to start thinking better and you got to start doing better. Because if not, you're going to keep on getting the same exact thing. So adversity is to be expected, okay? That's just something that comes along with life. Okay, you're gonna go through the ups and downs. It's a law called law of rhythm. Where's those sponges? It's a law called law of rhythm. Okay, and it's here universe, where is though you're gonna experience some things. Every day, if somebody ever tell you that every day is supposed to be sunshine and rainbows, okay? Every day is you're not gonna feel like $1 trillion every day. You ain't gonna feel like no $1 trillion every day. Some days you may feel like 1 million, but not every day, because there's just something that comes with life. The ups and downs. But what could you expect when you changing? Oh, expect adversity. Okay, I'll be the first to tell you, you better expect the adversity. Because your life, and imagine it, right? Imagine if every day was the same exact way, okay? You would take things, this paste from Dollar Tree, really good. But you would take things for granted. If everything was the same, like some of you guys take those relationships for granted. Yeah, you take those relationships. You take that person for granted, okay? Wow. Because every day is the same. You already know what to expect. And if every day was the same, guess what? That would not constitute you for growth. Why would you want to grow if every day Everything is the same. See, when you're going through or experiencing, adversity or whatever it is for you to look at your life and become the alchemist. I don't know if some of you guys read that book by Pablo Coelho. Oh my goodness, what a great book. That was like one of my first reads when I got into spiritual awakening and stuff like that. And I never forgot, because I used to listen to Infinite Waters, okay? And and I remember, and that's another thing, I remember when I used to listen to Infinite Waters, Ralph Smart, I remember he would do, he do the videos on like positive videos and stuff like that. Back then, he used to do like a lot of videos on positivity and stuff and changing. And I remember I would watch him and I would be like, oh my goodness, I am going to be there. Like, I'm going to be a YouTuber. I was like, honey, they didn't even quite know what really too much. I mean, I'm thinking, was I doing videos back at that time? I think I started doing videos on, because honey, I had like about 4 pages, okay? But I think I started doing videos on YouTube, but I remember me and my children was together. And I believe my mother was with me at this time. And I remember I was like, you know what? I'm going to be there one day. Looking at Ralph Smart and being inspired, I was like, you know what? I'm going to be there one day. Right. And I just kept on having faith, believing in myself, and that's another thing, what to expect on this road when you decide that you want to change. Your self-talk, it has to be magnificent. Okay. You have to be telling yourself you got this. Okay. Because it's going to be many times that chatter in the voice, that chatter in the mind is going to be telling you all types of stuff. Okay, it's gonna be telling you all types of stuff. What you can't do. Oh yeah, that's another thing you better be prepared for. Okay, because and let me tell you something else. When you hear that chatter in your mind telling you what you can't do and how you can't do it and why you shouldn't do it, and nobody in your family ever done it before. Let me tell you something. Don't you dare listen to that chatter. Don't you dare listen to that chatter in your mind. Because if you listen to that chatter, guess what? You're gonna keep on doing the same exact thing. You're gonna keep doing the same exact thing, okay? So you don't listen to that chatter when it tells you're not good enough, or you don't deserve it, or what makes you think that you qualify. I still hear the chatter, I still hear it. I still experience the monkey in the mind, so they say. I still experience the monkey in the mind. But I make sure that I affirm myself. And you got to affirm yourself. I don't care where you are currently right now. I don't care what your situation looks like. You can get better. You can get better. And another thing that when you decide to change, okay, you got to be willing to take the leap out on faith. You got to be willing to do things you never done before in order for you to live a life that you never lived before. If every day is the same exact way, right? Like you already know. You like, you know what? I wake up the same. I do everything. I know my schedule down to the T. There's no, you don't feel no type of fear. And you know what I learned on my journey is, you know, those moments where as though you feel like so bored, right? It's like you know exactly everything about your life. You know how your life is gonna be. You know, 2 months from now, you see yourself doing the same exact thing. And you just, maybe is one of you guys just so sick of life. Like you like, oh my goodness, I just want my life to change. I just want better in my life. The reason why you want better is because your spirit, it wants better. Okay, it wants you to do something different. It is always looking for ways to expand itself. But because you are so afraid of change and you're so afraid to do something different, although you look at your life and you say, you know what, I've been doing this for so long. And it's so funny because there's some people who been doing things for so many years that, although is they already know exactly what they're gonna get, they refuse to change. They refuse to do something different because they feel that they can't do it. They feel that they're not qualified. They fear that that job is their source. Yeah, some of you guys feel like that job is your source. You like, oh my goodness, this person pays me. I can't leave this, because then what I would do. Let me tell you something what you would do. First of all, that job is not your source. Okay. The payment goes through them to you, but objectively it is really from you. Okay. Now I know some of you guys, how the heck is from me? Because we talked about money, that money is energy. Okay? Money is energy. And the reason you earn that amount of money, just imagine God has something so big for you, something so huge for you, right? You know, you say, oh, I wanna live here, I want to travel around the world, I want to do all these different things. And whenever you write in your goals out, honey, please do not write that I just want to travel all around the world. Everybody has that goal, everybody has that vision. You gotta be very detailed oriented. Okay, we're around the world. Okay, mine's is Bora Bora. I say Bora Bora. I say, you know, I'm going to visit Texas in May. I say, you know, all these different things. So you have to be very, very detailed oriented, and you also have to have an open mind. Okay, that's one of the biggest ones. You know, when you decide that you want to change your life, you have to have an open mind. Okay, you cannot be thinking like the Walking Dead. You can't be thinking like these other people. You can't be thinking like others, because if you think like others, and there's words to the mother, okay? You can't think like others, because if you think like others, guess what? You're going to get exactly what others get. All right? Oh, and this product I had got from Dollar Tree, okay? It smells so good. All right, so this is for just, you know, this is for, let me see, effective on wood floors, tiles, bathroom fixtures, kitchen appliances, trash cans, walls, porcelain, granite, and countertops, and more. Okay, but you can't be, you know, thinking like everyone else unless you want what everyone else has. Let me say that again. You can't be thinking like everyone else unless you want what everyone else has. Now, if you want what everyone else has, then honey, you think the way they think. Okay? And you could be sure to receive exactly what they have. But if you see somebody, you know, especially sometimes our family members, okay, when you go to them and you have this bright idea and you like, oh, I'm gonna do this. You know, sometimes, oh, this smells really good. This smells really, really good. Sometimes you like, oh, I'm gonna do this, right? And they say, you can't, how you gonna do that? Right? Because they can't see it. You know, they can't see it because that vision was not given to them for them to see it. And you there explaining to them, like, how you gonna do it, when I don't know why you explaining to them, because they just don't have that vision. That vision wasn't given to them. So as long as you explain it and trying to get them to see it, okay, then you start not believing you can do it. Yeah, you start believing that maybe you can't do it. No, Tracy. Yeah, see, that's not Myers. There's let me see. Oxidol, I think it's called. Tracy, that's what I said. You know, and they got them in different scents. The Dollar Tree where I live at, they only had the but oh, it smells so good. So this is lemongrass and sage. Oh, delightful, really good. But the Dollar Tree where I live at, they only had the lemongrass one out. They said that they had the lavender, but it was like on a boat. I'm not on a boat, but like on, I don't know. He said it was in a bag. Okay. All right. So yeah. So they have different ones and it smells, you would absolutely like this because this smells so, so good. But yeah, so, you know, your family members, they're going to tell you, they're going to be telling you all these different things. You know, they're not going to be able to see your vision and it's not for them to see it. It was meant for you to see it. Because remember, our family members, they had a vision too. Okay? We all had visions. They had a vision to do something too. And guess what? They didn't do it. They didn't do it. Same exact reason why some of you guys not doing it. You know, you've been called to do bigger and better things. But guess what? You won't do it. You refuse to do it. Because you're so concerned. Oh, what would my family think if I was to do this? You know, when I was doing Uber is one of the jobs that I absolutely love, okay? Because the people that I met, oh, they was so amazing. The people that I met while I was doing Uber, picking people up. And I remember, one second, family. But I remember it was this guy who I had picked up, and he was a lawyer and an accountant too. He had a few things going on. But I remember I picked him up, and I was there talking to him. You know, his route was about like 45 minutes out, and I remember I was talking to him, and he was telling me. You know, because when the people would get in my car, normally I would ask them, you know, like, how's their day going and stuff like that. And do they enjoy what they do, right? And, you know, it would be a few people that would say that they didn't like what they did. That they didn't like it. One guy even went so far to say, it's not about if I like it. He said, and I never forgot where I picked him up at, okay? He was a bus driver. And I said, do you like what you do? He said, it's not about if I like what I do. I said, what? He said, it's not about if I like what I do. I got bills to pay. Oh, so you took the settlement. And it's okay if you take a settlement with life. You know, you got to look at your life and say, you know what? This is my life. Okay, but I don't believe in settling with life. I know that you are much greater than your situation, okay, and that occupation. All right, and so that's pretty much what he told me. You know, it's not about if I like my job. Okay, I got bills to pay. Never mind that. You coming in, you talking about do I like it? Never mind if I like it. Okay, I got these bills to pay. So the lawyer, okay, so he was going on telling me about what he do and stuff. And I remember I had said to him, I said, oh, so that's something that you always wanted to do? And he said pretty much, he said, no. He said he had a band. Oh my goodness. And you could see the sparkle in his eyes when he was saying this. He said that he had a band, right? Like when he was like in his early 20s or whatever. And he had friends, that was a part of this band, and they loved to make music. You can just see the twinkle in his eyes, the difference from when he first told me, like, he's a lawyer and all these, telling me the accolades and stuff like that. But you can see the transformation when he started talking about his band, the band that he had. And I said, oh, so what made you start practicing law? So he said his father was a lawyer, and his father wanted him to go into law. Right. And so he became a lawyer. Let me tell you. It's so funny because God has something way bigger and meaningful for you. Okay. And the people you listening to, one of the reasons why they may give you oftentimes opposition is because they had goals too, and they had dreams, and like we all do. And they start listening to people to tell them, what they couldn't do. Perhaps their parents told them as well, you can't do that. You got to help with these bills. You can't just, do that thing or whatever it is. And there's no money in that thing. I remember I was listening to a comedian. This Asian guy, I don't remember his name, but I think he started living on Silicon Valley or something like that. But I remember, and he also played in that show Silicon Valley. But I remember I was listening to him, and one of the things he said was like his Asian father told him that he could not be a comedian because there was no money into that. He would make no money, right? But he still followed his dreams. And he still did the thing that he wanted to do. Okay. And very successful. Very successful. So when you're going through making a decision that you want to change your life, guess what? You're gonna have to be willing to face adversity. You're gonna have to be willing to face people talking about you. You're gonna have to be willing to face, people saying she done, or he done lost their minds, want to do this here thing. You're gonna have to be willing, and sometimes to stand alone. You're gonna have to be willing to do those things, because the circle that you have now, the people that you talk to now, they are reflections of where you currently are right now at this here moment. And so when you start saying, oh, you gonna change, oh, they don't want to hear that. What you mean you gonna change? They don't want to hear you changing, because guess what? When you start changing, you start showing them, you start showing them that they living like frauds. Because guess what? When you start changing, it shows, it reflects back to them that they can change too. Okay. And many times they don't want to change. They don't want to change. Because when you start changing, it's like you don't even know yourself. let me take the person that you've been conditioned to believe about yourself. But when you start changing, it's like you gotta reintroduce yourself to yourself all over again. And a lot of people are not willing to do that because, one, they don't want to seem crazy. That's one. Two, they don't want people to think that, that they acting brand new or Hollywood. When I was working at this security job, I never even knew what the heck Hollywood was. Okay. It was this guy and he was really cool. But it was this guy. It was this guy who I remember he was like, Miss Hollywood. I never knew what I never knew Hollywood meant, like, oh, you acting bougie or you acting too good or whatever. I never knew what it meant. I just would be like, whatever. And so it's gonna be people, and a lot of people don't want to hear other people say that. They don't want to hear people say, oh, you acting too good, especially if your self-esteem is just basura. Okay, if your self-esteem is just trash, okay, you don't want people to say you acting brand new. No, because guess what? You want to fit in. You want to fit in. You don't want to stand out. You don't want to, you don't want people to think that you're weird. And you know what? I come to find out that the people that are millionaires and billionaires, those the ones that, society say is weird. Okay? Those the ones, because let me tell you something. If you normal, okay? If you normal, then honey, you like everybody else. I'm not gonna be like everybody else. So people won't say that I'm, like I'm normal. Who wants to be? Imagine that. Who wants to be normal? It's so boring. You being normal. It's like you doing everything what everybody else is doing. And last time I checked, it's no fun in it. And that's why a lot of times y'all, when y'all do stuff, because I know when I used to work for this hardware company, okay, I remember, oh my goodness, it's like your spirit, it wants you to do more. And it's like you fighting against it. Somebody put some hearts in the chat if you know what I'm talking about, right? Like it's like you fighting against it. Your spirit wants you to do more. It's like you fighting against it. It's like you feel like you can't go no further, but although you know that you can go further, but it's like you feel like you can't, right? And it's like you a hamster on this wheel and you just keep running, trying it. And it's like your spirit just wants you to do more. It just wants you to do more. And that's how I felt when I was working at that job. I knew that it was more for me to do, but I didn't know what to do. You get what I'm saying? Like I knew I was called for something much greater and better, but I didn't know exactly what to do. And I remember, and I tell you guys this all the time, mainly, I remember I would just have these epiphanies. I would go in the bathroom and I just felt like, you know what I could do? I said, I know I wasn't created for this. And this was me working, and taking my money and buying clothes and earrings, pocketbooks, and all this, stuff. And I felt like that there was more to life. I didn't know exactly what it was, but I am a firm believer that you seek, ye shall find. And I knew that there was more to life. I didn't know how I was going to get more. And it comes a point in life where as though you like the hell with what people think of me. Okay. And I had reached that point. The hell what anybody thinks of me. The hell what their perception of me is. The hell with them, right? Because I was living in hell. You know, sometimes we growing up, you know, religious or whatever, perhaps maybe you grew up religious, you know, you may think like hell is a destination. No, hell is a goddamn mindset. Okay. And I got to the point where I said, no, I am not going to be in this hell any longer. And I said, I know I ain't come here for this. Okay. At that time, I was talking to God in the sky, perhaps. Okay. Didn't know in a God. All right. And I just was like, I know I ain't come here for this. And it was almost as if over the months that went past, it was like certain things was being recommended to me. Right. You know, videos and stuff. And rapper B.O.B. I remember listening to his videos, all of them that was once upon you on YouTube, and I was listening to them videos, and I, you know, and he talked about all these different things, and I said, "Oh, really?" And then, you know, it was like everything was coming. Okay, everything was coming. Everything, like all the questions I had, it was like the answers was coming to me before I could like articulate it, right? I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, right? But it was like I had these questions, but it was like all the information was coming to me, and I never forgot. I called my brother who's Muslim, okay? And let me tell you something. If you religion or whatever it is, honey, you always do what works for you, okay? Don't listen to nobody say, oh, you shouldn't be this, you shouldn't be that, because that's where you are on your journey. Okay. And everybody's journey looks different. And I had to go through the religion in order for me to see that there's nothing outside myself. It starts all within me. But I remember I called my brother, and I'm on the phone because, you know, he listens to Louis Farrakhan. And I remember I called him, and I had all these questions, right? And it was just like some of the questions that I had, he wasn't able to answer some of them. Okay. And you know, when you hear truth, it just resonates with the spirit. You know, when you hear truth, you just like, oh, I don't know this person from a milk carton. Okay. But it's something about them that I resonate with. It just sounds truthful. Okay. And so when I was listening to rapper B.O.B., it just sound what he was saying. It just sound truthful. And I remember listening to him, and I became obsessed. Not obsessed with B.O.B., child, but obsessed with like the information and the knowledge and everything and the wisdom that he was giving. I became, you know, like I want more. I always been pretty much I don't want to say an information junkie, but I've always been pretty much with though, you know, I want to see how I could do better, right? And at the time, I wasn't putting this into words, but I've always been a person like, you know, let me see this way, let me see this way, let me see, you know, different ways and stuff like that. And I remember me listening to him, and after that, it was like YouTube started recommending. Let me tell you something about the algorithm, okay? Any algorithm, whether it's TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, YouTube, the algorithm is a copycat of your mind, subconsciously. Okay, the algorithm is a copycat of your subconscious mind. So what you constantly see show up in your feed, okay? And because remember, there's thoughts, okay, that we have, and then we have these feelings, these emotions, energy, emotion, and we project that out into the ether, right? And when you put it out into the ether, law of attraction is going to make sure you get exactly whatever it is that you put out. So if you are a person that's you know, a person that's pretty much cool, content, calm, a person that's in gratitude, that's what's going to reflect up. That's what's going to show. And sometimes we say, oh, synchronicities, but the synchronicities are just reflections of, like, one, you're on the right path, right? And two, it's just showing you what you constantly giving your energy and your attention to. Okay. But when I was listening to Rapper B.O.B., right? When I was listening to him, then I started getting into personal development. Okay. Up until then, I never even knew nothing about personal development, but I started listening to personal development. And from me listening to personal development, I started seeing that, right? If I want my life to change, my life, it can change, because if I want it to change, it's going to change. But how bad do you want it to change? And that's the question. That's the question right there. That's it right there. Okay? That's it right there. How bad do you want your life to change? I became obsessed. All right? I remember when my mother would come to my house, and she would say to me, she said, it's almost like you obsessed, because I would do the videos so many times. Oh my goodness, so many times, especially on Facebook mainly. And I just kept on doing the videos. And she said, it's almost like you obsessed. Well, from me listening to the personal development, I started getting all these downloads, right? All these downloads. And they would just pour in. And you gotta become obsessed with wanting to change your life. You got to become obsessed. It's like you sleep it, you breathe it, you eat it, you shower it, you become obsessed with it. And I became obsessed with change. I became obsessed, because I felt like I know I can do better, right? And I want more. I want better. And I started doing all these investments. One time I was doing wholesale flipping with the homes and stuff. I had invested into Dean Grazioso program. He works with Tony Robbins. And honey, I seen that wasn't for me. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to make no more payments on it. That's just not for me. I tried different things to see, what was it that I was interested in. But I was so obsessed. I said, what? I know I can be and do and have more than the way I am showing up. Okay. And you got to be obsessed, because let me tell you something. What happened, okay, in life, with your life. Let me tell you, let me share this with you. You see, your life, and at times, life is going to be very good to you. Life, I'm putting these fruit blend high-end antioxidants. So whenever you see anything that says antioxidants, just think of youthfulness, okay? Antioxidants means anti-aging, okay? But I remember, in life is going to give you, it's going to be times, honey, your life is going to be real good, right? And then there's going to be times where as though your life is going to seem like it's falling apart, okay? And then some people, they just go to church. They go to church only when it seems like their life is falling apart, only when it's like a crisis. And they say, oh, that preacher, gosh, he delivered. And sometimes it's only when there's a funeral or a holiday, okay? And they say, oh gosh, that preacher, Sunday was really good. He really threw down, right? And you feel so good, right? And then later on, your life goes back to crumbling again, crumbling into pieces. 1 second, family, 1 second. And so then your life, it goes back into crumbling, right? Crumbling into pieces, right? And you say, God darn it, where the heck did this stuff come from, right? Well, it's not for you. See, it's so funny because when I was growing up, I was taught that when things in your life goes a certain way, it is because of, say for instance, if you did something, right? Something that maybe the adults didn't like, maybe they frowned it upon what you have done. And so you was taught that, that's exactly why that thing showed up in your life, because of what you did, right? And you was conditioned and programmed to believe the reason you don't have any good luck is because of what you're doing. In life, okay, sometimes people will try to manipulate you because in order to do things the way they want you to do them, all right? But one of the things about life, and I don't know, maybe this will help somebody, but one of the things about life that you have to understand is you always going to have adversity. You always going to have challenges. You are always going to have challenges and adversity, and those things are there to help you grow. And those things are there to help you grow, okay? And there's so many people, when they start facing, and this is another thing. Oh, listen, this is another thing, okay? Is this book, and I recommend this book a lot. It's from Florence Shen, okay? And it's called The Game of Life and How to Play It. And I know some people with their mind, okay, they really had this construct or concept that life isn't a game. And life is a game, and you better know how to play it. Because if you don't know how to play it, guess what? You're going to be played. So you got to, and how do you start knowing how to play is you start studying. You start studying these laws of this here universe. You start not only studying them, okay, but you start doing stuff. You start experimenting with them, okay, putting things into play. I always say you can read as many books as you like. You can read as many books as you like. But if you're not willing to make the changes that you need to make in order for your life to change, guess what? Your life is not going to change. You have to be willing to make the changes in order for your life to change. So I don't care about the books that, that I read. What is more important is, do I understand? Do I comprehend what the book is saying? That's one. And then two, also, am I putting it to test? Right. That's the most important part, because see, when we was in school taught us how to gather information, right? Like information junkies, gather. And you see some people, they have all these accolades, they have a award here, they have a degree in this, a degree in that, and all these degrees, but sometimes they're not living a life that they desire to live. And that's because just because you have all the information, and I like to say information changes situation. I used to say, but applied information, okay? Applied information changes, because having all these accolades and having a bookshelf filled with books and your life is still the same as that way, do it really make sense, for you to have all those books? That's just the show. That's an ego thing. All right. Your ego. Okay. But you gotta be, in the words of Every Thomas, Les Brown, you gotta be hungry. You definitely have to be hungry for your life to change. You have to want change like your life depend on it, because it actually do. I don't care where you are today. I don't care where you are today. It may seem like you can't get no better. It may seem like you can't do better. You can't get, you can't earn more money. You can't live in that condo you desire to live in. You can't drive that car. All those things, it may seem that way. But the phenomenal thing about life is always showing us the possibilities. Now you have one or two choices, right? You can look at the possibilities, or you can look at the scarcity. You could look at life and say, oh my goodness, I know if these people are able to do it, I know I'm able to do it. And actually start implementing some of the things that they do. That's why mentors, I forever have a mentor. Okay. Life is my teacher, but I always have someone where as though they could show me the fastest route. And the reason I say fastest is because when you pay a mentor, you are paying to learn their successes, right? And not to make the mistakes that they made. So it saves you time. And you also got to understand that time is an idea. Time is frequency. Time is energy. Okay. And that's why they say spending time. Okay. All right. Because it's a currency. So when you doing those things, when you are so eager to like, you know what, my life is changing. I know it's going to change. Okay. Every day, I don't want you to feel like, oh, well, every day is going to just be like sunshine and, no, you're going to go through some storms. Okay. You are going to experience some storms. And don't be alarmed by the storms. Okay. Know that those storms that you experiencing is getting you to where you desire to be. Like the book, The Prosperity Bible. 1 second. This book, I've been recommending this book for so long. Okay, The Prosperity Bible is falling apart now. Okay, but this is a phenomenal book. In this book, everything is practically about the mind. Everything, okay, is based upon your thoughts, your emotions. Okay, And in this book, it talks about Florence Shen, the game of life. Okay. It also have a money, a spiritual idea. Okay. It talks about money being a spiritual idea. But in Florence Shen book, okay, she talks about how sometimes in life, right, you can have your eyes on this thing and you can want this thing, right, so badly, right? And I know, some, if you want it, that means you don't have it, that means you're lacking it, right? But for the argument's sake, okay, for this conversation, so you can want something and you want that so bad and you don't get it. It is not for you to get upset or feel like, God ain't just he. And I don't like saying God is a he, okay? Because in fact, God is just energy. Right? But it's not for you to get your panties in a bunch. It is for you to understand that thing, God has something way bigger and better. But as long as you lose it, right? You losing it and you're like, oh my goodness, this and all this other stuff. Let me tell you something. And for the ones that's out there, okay? You out there asking God for little stuff. Look, you know why you do that? Do you know why you ask God for little stuff? Huh? Do you? Because that's what you believe that you deserve. You believe you deserve it. That's why you ask only for a little bit, because somewhere deep down, subconsciously, you feel like that God isn't going to give you the bigger things. Okay. And big is relatively to, what we say big is. Okay. There's really no big or little. It's just what we perceive to be big or small. But this is one of the things it says. Okay. Because I want you to start changing your mindset. All right. Relationships. Now, some of you guys, you got your eyes fixed on certain individuals, and you want some maybe in relationships, and those relationships, they just not working. And you so afraid to let it go. You're so afraid to let it go because one, you don't want to start over. Okay. And then two, you believe you're going to get the same exact thing. That's why you don't want to start over. But the only way you're going to get the same exact thing, honey, if you remain the same, honey, that is a bar. Okay. In the name of neo knowledge. Okay. You don't want to start. The reason you don't want to get into another relationship is because you feel your next is going to be like your ex. But your ex is not going to be like your next if you do the work on yourself. See, everything you attract is because of what you got going on within you. Now, listen to what this lady wanted, okay? A woman came to me and asked me to speak the word that she would marry a certain man with whom she was very much in love. She called him AB. I replied that this would be a violation of spiritual law, but that I would speak the word for the right man, the divine selection, the man who belonged to her by divine right. I added, if AB is the right man, you can't lose him. And if he isn't, you will receive his equivalent. She saw AB frequently, but no headway was made in their friendship. She wanted him, he ain't want her. And I remember, I would hear when I was in teenage years, I remember I would hear my aunt say, or, my mother sometimes say, that guy do not want her, right? And I remember when I went through the divorce thing, and it was an annulment, okay, because we wasn't married that long. But I remember I went through that and feeling like somebody that didn't want me, it made me feel like, oh, they don't want me, But I want you to start looking at yourself and saying, but I want me. You get what I'm saying? I want you to start looking at yourself and saying, but I want me. And that's all that matters. When you go through those breakups, I want you to start looking at yourself and say, but I want me. Okay? Because the more you want you, you're not looking for somebody else. The more you want you, you're not looking for somebody else to want you. Now, the more you feel like somebody have to want you in order for you to want you, the more you're going to constantly be looking for other people to want you, other people to love you, other people to approve of you. And guess what? If you got that going on, okay, like to break it down, guess what? They always going to reflect what you are. So you're not going to get people that's going to want you until you start wanting you. You have to want you. Okay, now let's get back to it. Now, this is what the lady said to Florence. She said she saw AB frequently but made no headway was made in their friendship. One evening she called and said, do you know for the last week AB hasn't seemed so wonderful to me? I replied, maybe he is not the divine selection. Another man may be the right one. Soon after that, she met another man who fell in love with her at once and who said she was his idea. In fact, he said all the things that she had always wished AB would say to her. She remarked it was quite uncanny. She soon returned his love and lost all interest in AB. This shows the law of substitution. A right idea was substituted for a wrong one. Therefore, there was no loss or sacrifice involved. Jesus Christ says, seek ye the first kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. And he said, the kingdom is within man. Within. Okay. So you out here looking every which way. Okay. Looking here, looking under the table. Honey, get from under the table. Okay. You're looking everywhere. You're looking all these different places. Oh, I just want them to love me. I just want them to respect me. People are only going to give you what you give yourself. Okay? Let's be clear. People are only going to give you what you give yourself. All right? This one, reading these books, oh my goodness. I mean it. It's so good. It is so good because it lets you know the possibilities if you're willing to do the work, Linda. Now, listen to what this says, okay? Honey, I gotta find the page, okay? Hold on, child. 310. Okay, right here. Ask largely. Let's say it again. Ask largely. Okay, for some of you ones that's out there like my accent and you act like you can't understand what I'm saying, ask largely. Okay? You need not hesitate about asking largely. It is your Father's pleasure to give you the kingdom, said Jesus. Some of you guys, you asking for I was about to say stupid stuff, but hey, teach his own. But you asking for stuff that is so little and not understanding that it's going to take the same amount. It's going to take the same amount of energy if you ask for something large. Like if you asking for something, it's the same as that thing. So why not go full out? Why not play big? Why not? It's the same exact thing. Okay. Now, let me share this story. And then I'm going over to Facebook. Okay. All right. Let me share this. I recall now the case of one student. Now, this is The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. Okay, so some of you guys have read the book The Secret with Rhonda Burns. Okay, Rhonda Burns. You may even read The Secret, or you may even seen the movie of The Secret. Rhonda Burns got it from here. Okay, from The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. That's where she got it from. I don't know. I think it was her daughter or her sister. Somebody gave her this book. Okay, not the Prosperity Bible. I don't know. They just said she got the idea from The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. Okay, my mentor, Bob Proctor, said that. Okay, now. I recall now the case of one student who was told that he must get in mind a clear picture of the things he desired. So that the creative thought of them might be impressed on the formless substance. He was a very poor man. Okay. Living in a rented house and having only what he earned from day to day. And he could not grasp the fact that all wealth was his. So after thinking the matter over, he decided that he might reasonably ask for a new rug. Wait, hold on. A new rug for the floor of his best room. And a coal stove to heat the house during the cold weather. Following the instructions given in this book, he obtained these things in a few months. And then it dawned upon him that he had not asked enough. He went through the house in which he lived and planned all the improvements he would like to make in it. He mentally added a window here, a bay window here, and a room there until it was complete in his mind as his ideal home. And then he planned its furnishings. Holding the whole picture in his mind, he began living in a certain way and moving towards what he wanted. And he owns the house now and is rebuilding it after the form of his mental image. And now, with still larger faith, okay, he is going on to get greater things. It has been unto him according to his faith, and it is so with you and with all of us. How's your faith? How's your faith? How's your faith? Okay? How is your faith? Okay? If you have wishy-washy faith, if you have, faith where as though it's not consistent, sometimes you believe, oh, it'll work. And then sometimes you're like, you know what? I don't even know what I was thinking. If you have faith like that, it's not going to work. If you are a person that says, you know what? I'm just going to give it a try. Honey, just don't do it. Just don't. The reason I say just don't do it, because if you got that notion in your mind, I'm going to try. When you think of I'm going to try, it's like, I'm going to try. But when you say I'm going to do, I'm going to do sounds so much better. It sounds sophisticated. It sounds, I'm going to get it done. Okay? All right? I'm going to do. Listen, I don't care. Come hell or hot water, I'm going to do it. You see that ringtone? It sounds so good. But I'm going to try sounds like, well, I give it a try. You know what? I know it ain't going to work. But let me just try it. It's almost like, let me just try it so you can shut up, right? If you're going to try it, don't do it. Just don't. But if you're going to do it, Mm, It has a much better ringtone to it. I'm gonna do it. It's like confident, right? I'm gonna do that. You ever see somebody like, you know what? I'm gonna do that. The confidence. It just oozes out. I'm gonna do that. And then you do it. And then you do it, Linda. Radical action. And you know what? For not some of you guys, you contemplating too much. It has to make sense. Things, it all has to come together. It all has to make sense. I'm not gonna do it if it don't make sense. Some of you guys, you say you are not going to do it if you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. If you don't have all the answers, that's not faith. That just means you don't have faith. That's what that means. That means you don't have faith. Because if you need to know that the light is at the end of the tunnel, that means that you don't believe. I can't begin to tell you how many times, oh my goodness, and so many, where is though I didn't know how things was going to turn out. But I said, you know what? Things work in my favor. And let it go. Things, they always work out. They always work out. And then I start picturing things of the times things worked out. Now, do that means that I don't deal with that chatter, that monkey in the mind saying, oh, well, let me remind you of this. Yes, it reminds me of certain things. And I say, you know what? Nope, it always works out. Okay, you got to talk to yourself. Some of you guys, I don't want to talk to myself. People going to think I'm crazy. People going to think this. Don't give a damn about what they think. What you think? What do you think you should do? Never mind what they think. And you have to be able to keep that vision of what you desire. Keep that vision. When I was becoming monetized on here, I kept the vision. I kept the vision. I focused all my attention and energy on what I desired. Okay, writing the goals down every day, knowing how many videos I need to do per day, listening to the personal development to keep my head, my mindset right. Okay, doing all these different things. I knew what I needed to do, and guess what? I did it. And there's things in your life that you desired, and you accomplished it. But you keep focusing and keep getting sidetracked on the times you wasn't successful, the times that it didn't work out. No, stop focusing on that. Unless you want more of that. If you want more of that, focus on it. Just go ahead. Focus on it. Because what you focus on is going to grow. But you need to start visualizing. How is it that you want your life? And so many people don't even say what they want for their life. You ask the average person, oh, what you want for your life? I could almost assure you, they will tell you the things that they don't want. And that's exactly why they keep getting it, because that's where all their attention and focus is going towards. If you pay attention to most people's conversations, you will be in for a treat. You will be, it puts me in the mind. The other day I was on a bus. Not funny, but it was a lady who got on the bus. She was already, I guess, pissed off, okay? And she was already, and the universe is just like, all right, well, if you already pissed off, let me give you more things to be pissed off about. So she gets on the bus, and she didn't have a seat, right? And so people was getting off the bus, so then she had a seat. And it was another lady who came on the bus, and this lady, she had her cart, like a push cart, right? And the push cart, it was closed. But the lady who had the push cart was like she was trying to get to a seat that was available. So she was running the lady feet over with the cart. Okay. Oh, why did she do that? Chill. Remember what I said. You know, if you already pissed off, the universe is gonna look for more ways to piss you off. Okay. It don't go by color. It don't go by, somebody said to me on TikTok the other day, about the color. And don't listen, I don't go there. I don't go there. Okay. Now back in my days was though the conscious community and stuff like I may have went, but I don't go there because I know the universe isn't biased. It's not going based upon your skin color. It's not going based upon these people are the chosen. No, it's because we are here. Okay. It's not going based upon any of those things. And if you get that construct in your mind, you have to look at your life individually, right? The way you see yourself, it has to be when you love yourself, you are able to love others. Okay. That's point blank. When you love yourself and respect yourself, you are able to do those things for other people. The universe is not going based upon, because your skin color. So many people say, because of my skin color, they can't get this, they can't have that. But that is a lie. Because there's people that had the same as their skin color, they didn't sell themselves out. And that's another, maybe they had the hookup. No, they didn't sell themselves out. They didn't have the hookup. They believed in themselves. They kept on going. And it's not that they didn't face adversity. Of course they did. But guess what? They believed in themselves so much that they knew it was possible for them. And so guess what? They persevered. Okay? And that's a sure sign of faith when you able to keep going. So anyhow, so I'm on a bus. So the lady ran the lady feet over. So, it was about to be World War VII up in here. Okay, on the bus. So the lady said, I don't even think the lady was aware that she was running the other lady feet over. And you may say, how the heck she wasn't aware? Because that lady, it seemed like she wasn't even, she just wasn't aware. Okay. And so the other lady said, excuse me. Excuse me. She wanted everybody to hear. 1 second, family. Honey, I gotta do laundry today. Okay, I gotta call my son in a few minutes. But so she said to the lady, excuse me, right? She wanted everybody to hear that this lady ran over her feet. So she said, you ran over my feet. Now this was after the lady done sat down, she still was gone. She said, you ran over my, and then the lady said, she was like very low voiced, right? So she said, I apologize, right? And she said something else like, I didn't see or something. And the other lady said, hey, you didn't see, she just, and so that happened. Then the lady on the bus, she was saying that it was cold on the bus. So she said, bus driver, you need to turn this heat on. Okay, it's cold on this bus. Right? I love it. I love catching the bus. Now a few I used to listen, right? But nowadays I love it because you can see, from me reading the books, you can see what other people got going on with them. Okay? You can see See, the more you study yourself, the more you get to know yourself. The beautiful thing about that is the more you know why people do what they do. It's so beautiful. It is so beautiful. You know, and some people think, no, we are all different and stuff like that. Honey, we are all one and the same. Now, you may not agree with that, but that's your prerogative. You ain't got to agree with it. Okay, I'm not looking for you to agree. There's oneness in this here universe. And separation is the biggest illusion there ever was. Okay? The biggest illusion. So, with that being said, okay? If you, you know, maybe you looking for a good book, okay? This will be it. Now I know some of you guys not gonna get it. Get the book, okay? And I'm not getting anything from this book, although I should. So you guys know, I'm an Amazon affiliate, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put, because I have books that's associated, like my Amazon storefront associated to my YouTube account. Okay, I'm gonna put this book on here. All right. Because I was going to say, I'm not earning. Oh, yes, I am going to be earning from this. Now, let me tell you something. I don't say that, you know, my whole thing is the more I'm able to help, the more I am able to provide amazing service, the more things in my life goes up. Okay. So it's about me providing the best of the best value that I possibly can. And that's why I continuously read. Okay. That's why I continuously show up and do things to get out of the comfort zone. And I'm constantly telling you, get out your comfort zone. And some of you guys, you still do the same exact thing. But that's neither here nor there. You know, you got to live your life the way you want to live it, because guess what? This is your life. And if you like your life the way it is, just keep on doing it. Just keep on doing it. Because let me tell you something. The universe don't care what type of seeds you plant. Let me say it again. It doesn't care the type of seeds you plant. It's just going to give you what you plant. Now, if you plant seeds of doubt, seeds of scarcity, lack, seeds of hatred, it's just gonna, you just gonna reap that. You just gonna reap that manifestation. Okay, you just gonna get that back. Now, if you planting seeds of uplifting, kindness, peace, okay, love, abundance, prosperity, you know, you planting those seeds, then you're gonna get that back. It doesn't. You know, the universe is blind in a sense when it comes to, you know, oh well, I'm gonna give it to this person because this person is this. No, it's gonna give you, and I used to say the universe don't have favorites, but yeah, it does. It does have favorites. The favorites are not based upon, you know, your physicalities or anything like that. It's based upon your emotions. It's based upon your perception. Okay, is based upon your faith. It's based upon those things. You know, what do you see for yourself? That's what it's based upon. So anything else other than that is not. It don't care. It don't care about, oh, you know, because some people, you know, they cry. Oh, they cry and they think that is going to change their circumstances or their life. But it doesn't. If you still doing the same exact thing, okay, you're gonna continuously get the same exact thing from life. It doesn't care that you went through those things when you was a child. It's like, come on now. It you know, it's like you went through those things when you was a child, but don't you see you deserve better? And if you're not doing better, that's your indication what you believe you deserve. So who do you blame? who do you blame? Are you blaming your mama, your daddy, your grandpapa? Okay, your grandmammy? Oh, your sisters, your brothers, your uncles? Who do you blame? You blame the person that's reflecting back to you in that mirror. That's who you blame. You know, you out here blaming the exes, okay? Saying, oh, because of what your ex done did. Let me tell you something. Your ex did a wonderful thing. How could you say that? You don't know what he did. He did a wonderful thing. He helped you to realize you wasn't messing with you. You know, but it's much easier, isn't it? Like I could blame other people as opposed to taking accountability and responsibility for my own life. It's much easier to blame others, you know? And that's exactly why people lives don't change, because they out here pointing a finger saying it's because of this person, that person, that person, or except for the person that's reflecting back to them in the mirror. It's because of you. It is because of you. And not until you take accountability for you will your life change. So, with that being said, I love you, good folks. Okay? I absolutely love you. Make sure you're rocking out, believing in yourself. Keep going, keep on growing. Until next time, peace. Oh, if you are following me on Facebook, same exact name, Dina Bryant. I'm heading over there right now. Okay? With that being said, keep on going. Good looking. You're cooking.